My people, there's something I took from this family DPA family law clinic. Our beautiful Queen May family lawyer. There's something that he wrote that I would need to know and learn a lot from. He said, which he already explained to us multiple times. I like the way he come out to teach us a lot about divorce laws and what each spouse stand to benefit or stand to gain when they are going their separate way. And he also encouraged both the men and the women to prepare for divorce when you are getting into marriage. That doesn't mean you are going to divorce. You are just being careful. He said in Nigeria, before a judge grants you divorce, he must allow an opportunity for reconciliation. You see, in other parts of the world, maybe those are the culture that we have in Africa that a lot of other part of the world does not have. You know, the justice system still allow mediator, somebody within the family or within the law to bring these two people together to say, okay, there is going to, maybe there's a spark that is still remaining in that marriage that should bring about reconciliation. You know, Nigerian law mandates both the judge and lawyers involved in divorce cases to make an effort to encourage the husbands and wife to try to reconcile. Sometimes it is difficult to observe where the reasons for divorce is so clear and strong. For instance, how do you try to reconcile a woman with a man who hates her so much, or a man who tried to buy her in domestic violence? And how do you try to reconcile a woman with a husband who has suddenly jumped into polygamy? I'm telling you, it is so difficult for you to now come and say you want to reconcile a man that decide to say is a proud polygamist. How do you reconcile that when the woman already said, I cannot be numbered? Right? So how do you reconcile that? Or somebody that is into domestic violence, how do you reconcile that? Are you pushing the woman into more violence, into more beating, into her buying time, getting her closer to her grave? Who does that? How do you reconcile a woman with a husband who has suddenly jumped into polygamy and declares himself a polygamist? To reconcile such a proud polygamist is to accept an adulterous husband snatcher into your life. Yet, even in such cases, the courts direct the husband and wife and their lawyer to sit down and talk with each other to see if they could reach an agreement. And in most cases, when there's a third party in the marriage and these things were not previously discussed, it is difficult. Reconciliation is like you passing it's just so difficult, passing a needle through a camel eye. It's just difficult. It's difficult. So that conference that was mandated between Yul-Edochie and Judy Austin, so DPA Family Law Clinic is telling us that conference, there was no any fruitful reconciliation. There was nothing important. There was nothing meaningful that came out of that conference. It says such conferences are mandatory. It is called mandatory because it is a requirement of the law and an order of the court. In the case of Queen May and Yul-Edochie, the court ordered a mandatory conference after the October 15 hearing. They were ordered to go and talk with their lawyers to see if there was anything they could agree on by themselves. The mandatory conference is also an opportunity for the parties to reconcile, either fully or partially. On few occasions, the conference could lead to a full reconciliation, in which situation the divorce cases will end and be dismissed. The parties will continue their marriage. In more cases, the parties will agree on certain things and disagree on certain things. Example, the parties may agree on custody and support, but not agree to continue the marriage. And in some cases, the parties will not agree on anything at all. That means that all the issues remain on the table to be tried by the court system. So, going through a reconciliation conference does not mean that, okay, or the mandatory conference that is ordered by the court doesn't mean that there must be a reconciliation. And in most cases, at the chop my tongue, the parties will disagree. And sometimes they even quarrel the more. They even give themselves basketballs the more during the conference. Sometimes they just come over there and say, okay, we'll talk about the child support and all that, and they still disagree not to be couples anymore. At the end of the conference, the parties will file the report of the conference. The report will tell the court the areas the parties agreed on and areas they could not agree on that parties could not agree on anything, or that the parties could not agree on anything. Only the areas they could not agree will be tried by the court. But in the case of me, people will understand what I talk, so because people say I talk too fast. They say now the thing where they don't agree on, and they bring come court. But if we say the parties agree on anything, then there will be nothing to be tried in court. So it is very obvious that in this case of Yul-Edochie and Yul-Edochie, they did not agree on anything, because this coconut head, all he go want, he won't come make a pack with May sweat, go give a kwesu where they born several children. I made a video and I said that Judy Austin don't get picking from GSS1. Make una go back, go listen to that video. They say during the conference, I mean, okay, it is to be noticed that this case is special because it is not just between May and Yul-Edochie. It said during the conference, let me go back. It said during the conference between May team and Yul team, the parties could not agree on anything at all. I don't want to tell you whose fault it is, and obviously we all know say now this coconut head fault. You see, I don't want to tell you whose fault it was. There was no agreement. Also, I don't want to tell you the details of the discussion. You shouldn't just know that. You should just know that the parties failed to agree on anything. That means that the report to be submitted will be likely reversed all the issues for trial. That means that this coconut head still they come court, they force polygamy on Queen May. And Queen May say, no, I don't want. You cannot continue to force polygamy on a woman that said she doesn't want to practice polygamy. So that means all the cases will be referred to. But the one that got me so interested is, I'm going to make a separate video on that. We'll analyze it, but let me just throw it in here. It is to be noted that this case is special because it is not just between May and Yul. Yul-Edochie is also being sued for adultery. So, conference here is a three-way directional. May versus Yul, May versus Judy, and Yul versus Judy. Everything will be going to trial. This may help you further understand why this case is taking time to conclude. The mandatory conference is important. It gives the parties the last opportunity to lower the tension, to de-escalate and redefine the issue in contention. Every divorce court in Nigeria must order such conferences. Hence, it is called mandatory. My people, I go end here and I'm coming right back to talk on the Yul versus Judy, because this is the first time I'm really saying that. So is it that Yul sue Judy? I mean that Judy sue you. Yeah, this case is getting more interesting. Please share this video. My name is Patience and this is Patience Vlogs.